What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray. And this is another episode of Gray Area Anime. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to let PrimaDiva lead the episode a little bit because there are some big things that we are putting together. There's causes and things of that nature, but I'm going to let her explain that, and then we're going to get into the episode after that.
Okay, so for those of you, first of all, hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know, I am in graduate school at the University of Central Arkansas. I'm currently taking a class in producing there, which is centered around the concept of crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. For those of you who don't know what that is what you see on Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and for people that are specifically in media and film, Seed and Spark. And as a part of our class, we are helping our professor run his campaign. And learning exactly how to go about doing a successful campaign. So far, it's been really great. The project is called Stay With Me, and it's a movie, a feature film about a young woman who's dealing with her mental issues. She has borderline personality disorder. And in the face of this pandemic and everything that we're going through, one of the major reasons I am very excited about this project is because given the status of, quarantines and isolations and things like that, these kind of situations can only heighten the desire for suicide and other mental health issues and concerns. And this film is all about mental health advocacy. It's really about her best friend and her boyfriend who are trying to do their best to help her. And the idea of this film is to encourage people to understand and know the signs of those who are struggling with mental issues. So all I wanted to do in this moment was just ask if you guys are interested. If you'd like to know more, you can go to seedandspark.com and look for Stay With Me. And again, the name is Stay With Me. And just, all you have to do is, follow the group. That's it. If you're able to contribute, that would be wonderful. But we're definitely not asking for that necessarily, especially in these hard times. The major thing is that if you are able and can, just clicking the follow button, telling your friends and family about it, and promoting this film wherever you can. Thank you.
Okay. And so what I wanted to do with that and understanding more about the film, I was talk about like a huge thing in the anime community, which is reclusiveness, needs, or hikikomori, which is another word for it, which is typically just a shut-in. A shut-in need is normally the term used. Otaku is another one that is not just single to nerd as a term. And a lot of what it means is they've withdrawn from society. They don't socially interact, at least not in person, so to speak. It's a dot hack sign, a sword art online. It's the isekai of sorts. They've pulled into their own little world. In these times that we're currently in, the reason I was wanting to do an episode on this, it's probably feeling like a recluse's euphoria in a lot of ways, but also trapped in a lot of different ways for other people who may have social anxieties, different mental health issues, and other things that are currently going on with them. Because there was already a stigma in general about otakus, neets, so on and so forth. They just are kind of shunned. You can see that a lot in some of the animes that we watch. They're typecasted in a certain way, and it's not often that type of person is given a certain level of respect. I mean, you have animes that do build them up. That's what the isekai genre is built off of, is these neets or otakus being whisked away, and the things that are only valuable to them are now valuable to an entire society. Finding your footing, finding your foundation in these times is a bit difficult because, like, who do you talk to? And you can't go and talk to people because that endangers other people. And I know specifically that it's been difficult for, different addicts and things of that nature where they tell you to, go work out, be active, talk to other people. And those people can't do that right now. We do this podcast to introduce people to new animes that you may like, that you may enjoy, to bring people together, to bridge the gap. That's a huge thing, a mantra of my life in a lot of different avenues is bridging the gap for a multitude or a plethora of reasons. So the stigmas in general, like I said, are that they are just most oftentimes they're like disgusting. They only, they have these lofty or extremely high pedestals for what they think women should be, blah, 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 so on and so forth. One of my favorite animes is The World Only God Knows. And it's about this guy who plays dating sims. He is amazing at them. He can find the route to any dating sim that he finds. And at the beginning of the anime, he gets an ame from someone saying, "Hey, I got this game. It's the most difficult thing in the world." Or there's wording that's not pretty much saying this game. It's like, "Hey, Kami-sama, if you have, or if you can win the heart of these girls, it'll save the world. But if you can't, you'll get your head chopped off," or something like that. And he's like, "Man, this game sounds amazing. I'll try it out." So of course he says, "Yeah," and immediately there's this girl that like comes through the screen. I forgot how she comes in, but anyway, she pops up and she's like, "Well, okay, we're supposed to free people's hearts together. You said you could do." He's like, What?" And the whole anime is about him releasing himself from that, in terms of being so into the games and actually interacting with real living, breathing people. The technology age has made that a little bit more difficult and a little bit more easy all at the same time. Mm-hmm. Whereas this used to be something to where, people would think something was wrong with you if you didn't want to go outside all the time. And they still do. But now the internet inherently in and of itself can either be a place where you're connecting with people or it just heightens the reclusiveness, especially now.
Yeah.
Because you're not even able to go outside and you're not even able to find avenues for the kids who, "Hey, buddy, you don't want to go run around and do all sorts of stuff like normal kids." And you use those words and terminologies that then just hurt them more. And you don't understand that. But it's hurtful. There are kids who all they need is their imagination and 12 feet of space.
And they're fine.
Inside, and they're
I'm
fine,
one of those children.
There are kids who don't necessarily want a summer camp program,
right,
or whatever. And even in trying to build them up socially, which is normally the best laid plans of mice and men, the good intentions of parents, are rooted in good part. Like, well, we do a lot of, well, I did it, so should you. And I guess in all this rambling, what I'm really trying to say is we're here. We're here to help. And the things like this movie, things like our podcast, we're reaching out. It's extending an arm to be able to allow for there to be a safe place.
Right.
It's okay to like what you like. Agree or disagree on the validities of any of these things, but it's still okay for you. In a society where everybody, the group think, they try to make you feel like you have to walk by the beat of their drum. You can walk by the beat of your own.
Right.
And that's what we do. That's why we find the things that the animes and things that fit you.
And there's a level of, I think what's interesting about kind of what we've been talking about otakus, but I think about things like Sucker Punch, because me and Charmaine were talking about that earlier. I think about other films and things that deal with people who feel that they need to retreat or escape into a mental space to deal with the trauma of whatever they're encountering. In Sucker Punch, the girls were in an insane asylum, spoiler alert, and they were being abused. In ReZero, spoiler alert again, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, you've been warned. In ReZero, when Subaru goes through the trials and we learn more about who he is and what he went through, and the remedy to that being those experiences he had with his parents, you know,
or the calculated experience. It's not even an experience he'd get.
No, but that's the thing. Like, he knows this, but yet he's able to find to have this cathartic moment. You know, like this real moment for him where he acknowledges who he was in the past. He's able to face the issues that he had, and I think that's something really important, especially when you're talking about mental health. You know, and maintaining your mental health, whether you suffer from clinical issues and you actually need to speak to someone, or you need to deal with someone, or if you're just having a mental reaction or an issue mentally reacting to the times that we're in. I think it's really important that what I think we can learn from that experience of Subaru's, and you can go further into this, Icarus, but is the need to talk, the need to connect, like we're talking about. So using your social media, yes, social distancing, but even I was walking out of the parking lot at Target the other day and saw two people talking, and it seemed like they hadn't seen each other in a long time. And they were standing a distance apart, but just the smiles on their faces at being able to see each other, physically in a space. So being safe, but connecting, making sure that you're taking care of your environment, taking care of yourself, and taking care of the people around you, because that's how you figure out the signs. That's how you make sure that things like suicide and other things don't happen, is that you stay connected as best you can,
One of the big things that's also something to watch out for, Subaru suffered from burden of legacy. And that's a huge thing. Like I said, with all of these expectations, there are a lot of parents who are getting to spend more time with your kids. Way more time than you've probably ever had to spend with them, and probably will ever get to spend with them
since they were babies. Yeah.
And what I mean by burden of legacy is his biggest issues. Well, we've already done spoiler alerts. This one, it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Was that he started to be a recluse because his dad was hugely popular.
Everybody loved
his dad. He was a great, athlete, everything. This, that, and the third, and everything. And Subaru wanted to be that. But when he turned out to be, quote unquote, just average comparatively, he started to feel this burden. He started to feel like the words he said were not living up to anything. Anything he did not feel accomplished. He felt worthless. And so he started to pull away, because anything I say, somebody's going to make it into something bigger. They're not going to believe in me. They're not going to feel like I can do this. And there's no way I can fill those shoes. That is another thing. There are kids and teenagers
and adults, even
adults who are at home now, dealing with these things. I mean, the reason I said kids first is, like, you have kids that are home who maybe just started basketball or art or something, and now they can't play,
right?
Or they can't play, in the ways that gave them that feeling of accomplishment or closeness to their parent. The sports, I can only imagine what the sports parents are going through. Those parents who live vicariously through their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that crushing way where they're probably feeling the most free that they have ever felt.
To that point, summer's coming too. And Lord only knows what's going to happen with summer programs. So, like, what you're saying is, it's not only pertinent for right now, but also for the coming months. Yeah,
because you'll be looking at a whole new side. You'll be looking at your kids for who they are. No matter what that is. And in this world, it becomes a lot of different things nowadays. And how you navigate that is earnestly learning them. you know, no matter what our kids eventually, when we have them, come to us with, if you in your core feel whatever it is you feel versus the societal pressures making you feel that way,
or even pressures from us,
or whatever,
yeah,
then we can work with that. What I can't work with is just doing something to do it, or doing something because it's sensationalized and not knowing the difference.
yeah,
And that's what we try to dispel here. That's why we had a full episode on fan service and everything else, because there are so many things that a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It just depends on a lot of people how you serve it, and they change it from a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to a Pinot Montagne Salé.
What is that?
You just say it with accents.
Oh,
and
okay.
throw things on it.
I don't
and
know
like,
what that was.
You cut the crust off and you brown it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, you heat it up a little bit.
This is marmalade
Marmalade?
and caramelized pecans.
I thought you were going to say something like, and the juice of peanuts, or the oil from peanuts. I thought you were going to say something like that, but I think.
And fresh planters
that was way
from
better.
vintage 1858. Whatever it is, and it's like, that's why we cut through some of those things, like the cultural references, and we're more alike than we are not.
Yeah.
Religion wise or any of that, it's still more like than in most cases.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta add that in there.
Caveat.
Caveat.
then it's not alike. And
there are at least some things we can agree on.
Currently, the big push for the mental health and being aware, discussing things, talking about things, seeing and talking to a therapist and knowing that that's okay. Sometimes a religion, in the context that people will box it in, has no place for talking to someone.
And that's all that's supposed. Well, at least I can speak for, believers of Jesus. That's all that's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to talk to each other.
Any of that, you're just supposed to be able to connect. And here we have, not being able to physically connect, but being able to connect more. Calling people, reaching out, just connecting, watching the animes that we're watching animes with us. That's why we have the anime rewind or the episode breakdowns. It's so you watch with us. It's so you put this on while you're watching whatever, pause, you go watch it, you come back, you see what we're talking about, you see if we're spoiling something or if we're giving you more of an understanding of it or whatever.
And the idea that I think you're touching on is the ability to create community. It's like, what this podcast, and I'm sure many other podcasts are created for, as well as all these other options and avenues, are to build community around you with people that you may not have talked to before or had a reason to talk to before. All of that.
Yes. So, a lot of the animes, like I think right now, to understand for those who maybe have not been quarantined, obviously, because most of us haven't, or even been in timeout or grounded in your life.
We're in self-quarantine. We are.
Essentially, the things that I will watch if you're trying to understand what's going on around you is I watch any isekai, period.
Not any of them.
Well, the reason I say
maybe not
any
the one
of
with the
them,
geniuses.
There's a reason for the.
I was
okay,
joking.
I
was
know.
joking.
Back
Fading away.
Just
backing away.
Too serious. In a serious moment.
Okay, sorry.
But watch isekais only because in a lot of ways, if they're done well or if they're done in the way that they need to be done, there's an escape from the realities of everyday life. There's a weight on them that is just unbearable. So whether it's Sword Art Online, Dot Hack Sign, which I think predates a lot of these things, ReZero, and there's a million others, and everything isn't coming to my brain right now, but there's a lot. And what it does is it creates this sense of escapism. And we're all in a place of escapism currently. the streaming sites, the way movies are being released, the way we're getting our food, the Matrix in and of itself. While not anime, has anime roots in certain parts of it. And we are connecting in a lot of different ways. I often joke that this is the start of Sword Art Online. If they come out with an Oculus Rift, talk to people,
Yes.
get close to people,
If the
VR
VR,
headset,
yes.
I'm not like, nah, y'all can have it.
I'm not getting stuck in here for you.
Like, nah, you can
I'd have to figure out how to
it.
find Icarus first of all, so that I can like survive. I'm not a cheater like that. Like dude is, he's a beater. That's what they call him. And I don't know cheat codes like that, so I'd probably be gone. I'd be hiding out in somebody's bar and hoping nobody sneaks up and kills me.
Yeah, no, I'm
If you die in the game.
It happens for real. When you die in your dreams, Freddy Krueger.
No, let's not.
That's for real.
Let's not and say we did. Okay. Moving on. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's where we all get that from. So, even Darwin's Game, new one that we've kind of watching, that they like kind of melds real life and isekai all at once. Because there's like these things that they're doing that are, inside and out there. Tron in and of itself is kind of another non-anime, but
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying. Ghost in the Shell. Not an isekai, but has a lot of those like Ghost in the Shell would be perfect to watch right now in terms of understanding the mind and where we go when we're Altered Carbon is basically an offshoot of Ghost in the Shell to me.
You're probably right. Like you're probably dead on.
But they live in that kind of, immortal, keep your thoughts or keep your brain, transfer it, blah, blah, blah. Psychopaths is another one. But these are things that you can watch that kind of like, you're not alone. The things I'm suggesting show you're not alone. Yeah. Watching ReZero and everything that he goes through, you are never alone. There is somebody who understands. It might not be somebody who can see from your perspective, but that's impossible for any of us. We can only see from the perspective that is ours. We can empathize to a high degree with people, but the way a sandwich tastes to me is going to taste different to another person.
Thank goodness, because I don't know about your sandwiches, man.
Yeah, well, I guess. But let's build the community. We often tell you guys to comment, send emails about suggestions for the show. But we're open for all the things. We're open for just hearing, why you love anime. How anime makes you feel. If, you're made fun of because you watch anime, well, we're here to tell you why, we agree with you. We're on your side. It's never too difficult. It's never impossible for you to get through. You're gonna have lulls. You're gonna have downtime. Depression is something that I deal with. It's not something that I've been clinically diagnosed with, but
I think a lot of people, more than people realize, deal with the level of depression in some form or fashion.
Whatever that may be, whether it's from all the sugar we ingest or withdrawals from different things
or lack thereof.
Whatever. We all experience those moments to a certain extent. But we're in this together. We're not just going to stay in together. We're also going to, when we get out of these houses, be out together, which, you know what I mean. Anyway.
We going to be what together?
You know what I said. I'm not repeating it. But we're doing this as a unit. We're doing this as a community, as she said. So again, give them the information where they can go see the movie, where they can go and support.
You can't see the movie yet. It's still, that's the thing. We're in post-production, we are in post-production now. Our Now, if there is a level, if you decide, again, no pressure because we understand where you are, where we all are. If anyone is able and decides and is willing, once they look at the information, they can give to the campaign. And I believe at one of the levels on the perks, you will be able to watch the film once it is finished. However, you can go to seedandspark.com/fund/stay with me #story.
Seed
S as in Sam, D as in dog, and spark.com
Okay.
/fund/stay with me #story. Or you can just go to the Seed and Spark website and then just do a search for Stay With Me. And if you are able to, just follow the campaign. That helps us out so very much. And we would really, really appreciate any help you can give.
Okay. And I'll we'll direct you guys to all of the links and things in the description. So just make sure that you check that out and do your thing.
You can follow Icarus Gray on Twitter at Icarus Gray. You can also follow him on Instagram at Icarus_Gray. You can follow me on Twitter at PrimaDiva, and you can follow me on Instagram at PrimaDiva Red. We look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Okay. And we'll have an anime rewind next week or next Saturday, but we're going to do a double time. Well, it's going to be one episode, but we're going to watch 2 episodes or more, depending upon how we feel. Because, I still work. Yeah. So I be gone.
Yeah.
But I'm trying, and we're going to build this community up. We're going to keep building until we can't build no more. But we'll see you guys next week. It's your boy Chris Gray and PrimaDiva. Peace. I'm going to do that again because I had the sounds muted. So it's Chris Gray and PrimaDiva. We'll see you guys next week. I'm going to get it right this time. And peace.